Hello everyone, my name is Oksana and today I will be talking about direct object and indirect object of the sentence. So in my previous video, I was talking about the object of the sentence in general. Today, let's look at two types of the object we have in English grammar. All right, so let's start with the direct object. Direct object receives the action of the verb directly. And it answers the question what or whom. If you look at the grammar, it is noun or noun phrase. It can be a noun or noun phrase in the sentence. So literally it is a thing or a person that received the action of the verb. Again, there is no preposition. This is very important. So there is no preposition between the verb and the object. Also, objects, all objects, they come after the verb, not before, but after the verb. Again, I will leave a link to the previous video when I was talking about subjects, verbs, and objects. So you can refer to that video to refresh the grammar rules. All right, so no preposition, I already said that. Let's look at the examples. So they built a house. They built what? It comes after the verb, right? This a noun, and it tells you what has been done. So the verb very tightly connected with this word. It gives you more information in the sentence and just says what. It comes after the verb because English doesn't have English objects. They don't take any extra suffixes. They are the same as subjects. That is why the word order in the sentence is very strict. You can't swap object with subject. So objects always come after the verb. The other hint would be, which probably may help you, that objects of the sentence are accusative case of nouns. Okay, so if you put a noun into accusative case, especially those people who learn different languages, like European languages that have cases, it might be easier for those people, for such people, to understand this piece of grammar in cases. When you put this object into a case, which case is that, you can understand this more. All right, so let's look at the accusative case of nouns. For example, in English, it would be I saw someone, I saw whom or what, right? I saw something, or someone, right? So in other words, you can say that I saw who, or whom, or precise, or what. So these two questions are your accusative case, right? Whom or what. This sentence is probably would be the easiest example of accusative case. I saw you, I saw him, I saw people. I saw whom, I saw what, I saw them, I saw him. So some pronouns will be used not like possessive pronouns, but like object pronouns. So we'll be talking today about pronouns too. All right. For example, let's look here again. Marta bought some chocolates. Marta bought. This is the verb. and we have object after the verb, direct object. She bought what? No preposition, no preposition, just a noun phrase. Martha bought some chocolates. She bought what? Direct, direct action. So, direct recipient of the action. Bought what? Bought chocolates. I met John yesterday. I met whom? I met John. There is no preposition. And the verb needs another noun or object to explain the situation in this sentence. So you can't just say, I met yesterday. So you need to use an object after the verb met. Meet, met. You need to give more information. So I met whom? I saw John yesterday. Same, this is direct object of the action. So this is the action or some effect, and this is the recipient of this action. I is a performer, so subject is a performer of the action. Direct object is the recipient, receiver of the action. All right, so let's look at the indirect object. All right, I will have to clear everything here. Let's move on. So indirect object, now it will be very, very confusing for some people. What is that? So indirect object is the recipient of the direct object. Okay, so let's look here. It is who or what received the action of direct object. Sometimes, not always, sometimes we have prepositions. And the question, your question would be, for what, of what, to what, over what, etc. For whom, to whom, of whom, over whom, etc. So normally, indirect object can be used with preposition or without preposition. All right, so let's look at this example with gave. Gave always, to give, gave is past tense of the verb to give. So give always requires indirect object. So he gave the student a chance. He gave is a verb in past tense. So gave that student. The student is who received a chance, who received a direct object, is the student. In other words, we can say who. So I gave the chance to whom, right? So, he gave the chance to whom. So who is the recipient of the chance? All right, so this is your indirect object. And direct object is just a chance. So he gave what or asks what, right? Direct object asks what normally. A chance. So I hope this makes some sense. So let's move on. I will clear all of this. Okay, let's get a bit back. I forgot to tell you about, if I was talking about the cases, yes, so normally indirect object is the dative case, okay? So the dative case asks a question: to whom, to what, or simply whom or what. It can be said just whom or what, but after the word to give. To give, if you use this word, it's very important to use this word as an example. If you want to check a direct object or indirect object, or just whether it is dative case or accusative case in a sentence, always put the verb to give, whom, what. To give, to whom, to what. Use this verb with these questions and you get the answer. If you get the answer, so you have indirect object in your sentence. So you have dative case, in other words. If you don't, you don't have the dative case in your sentence. Okay, so let's put it here again. So this is the dative case. And this is the accusative case. Accusative case. Okay, so if you learn grammar in cases or make it, or it is, if it is more understandable for you, you just look at the direct object as dative case and indirect object as dative case, direct objects as accusative case. And you got, he gave to whom, to what, or whom and what. He gave something. So who received something? Who received something, right? This is your indirect object. The thing or person who received something. And from a subject. And then what he received or what it received. This is your direct object. So indirect object is the recipient of the direct object. Direct object is your accusative case. It simply tells you what or whom. Okay, I have another example for you with prepositions. Let's clear this. Everything. And let's move on. So this might be more understandable if we look here. So Marta is the subject, right? So let's put it, this is the subject of the sentence. So bought is the verb of the sentence. This is the verb. Bought what? She bought what? This is. Now take a moment to think. Is this direct object or indirect object? So some of you might already guess that this is direct object. That's right. For John, so the question is, who received the chocolates, right? Who received not the action, but who received the chocolates? Who received the direct object? The direct object. Okay. Yes, John received the direct object. Okay. And we have a preposition here which also shows that this is the indirect object. Indirect object. So this is the indirect object. It comes with preposition, may come without, and it is the recipient of direct object. So John got the chocolates. Okay. So, or we can say Marta bought for whom. for whom, we can use a preposition for. We can ask, she bought for whom something. So this is, you already know that prepositions will be only used with the indirect object. All right, guys, so I hope this makes some sense to you. And I also have some activities, so just simple sentences. Let's look at them. Next, yeah. Okay, so, right, so find direct and indirect objects in these sentences, or if you only have one, that is also good. So let's look. Let's have a look here. So Mary, number one, Mary forgot her keys and phone. You need to find object of the sentence. So if you look that Mary is the subject, forgot is the verb. Now what she forgot? And look, do we have preposition, or can we put a preposition? Can we ask a question with a preposition? Mary forgot what? No, this is a direct answer. Her keys and phone. So we have simply a direct object here. Direct object. Her keys and phone. This is noun phrase. Two nouns. Direct object altogether. Mary forgot her keys and phones. So now let's look next. Let's look here. Luke is the subject. Wore his gloves and a jacket. Wore is the verb. Wear, wore, worn. His gloves and a jacket. Let's ask a question. He wore what? Can we put a preposition here? The answer is no, which means that this is also a direct object. So we just say what? This is accusative, guys, and we get the direct object. Right? Let's look next. Number three, our cat. So our cat is a subject. Caught is a verb. A mouse. Quickly give an answer, and of course this is a very simple direct object. Yes, very simple sentence, direct object. Right. Our cat caught a mouse. Caught what? A mouse. We cannot put any preposition there, and it doesn't receive anything except of action. So these words, they receive the direct action of the verb. Direct effect of the verb. That's why it is a direct object. So now let's look at number four. Susan bought the gift. And number five, Susan bought him the gift. If you look here, see the difference and just figure out where is the direct object and where is the indirect object. So this sentence, it doesn't have indirect object. It has only direct, right? She bought what? She bought the gift. So we put that the gift is just direct object. And Susan bought him the gift. Him is indirect object, and the gift is still the direct object. It is indirect object, right? And the gift is still direct object. So if we look at this sentence like this, she bought the gift for whom, right? She bought a gift for whom? So if you ask this, she bought the gift for whom, this will be your indirect object. She bought the gift for whom? She bought the gift for him. If we put indirect object after the direct object, we will need to use the preposition. In this case, we have for. When you ask a question to a direct object, you just ask a question what. So Susan bought him what? What? Susan bought him what? Or if you look again, to combine these two, you can put it as Susan bought what did Susan buy for him, or for whom, and for whom, and for whom, for who, for whom. So what is Susan buy and for whom? Yes. What is Susan buy and for whom? So we have two questions in one sentence. If we say what is the direct object, we can say the gift, and for whom is indirect object, for him. For him is indirect object. So here it is for him. For him, indirect object, right? All right, so I hope this makes some sense. This is indirect. Number 6, he is a subject, wrote a verb, a long letter. A long letter, he wrote what? A long letter, no preposition, we cannot put any preposition here. So this is the direct object, right? So this is a direct object, long letter. He, if we look again, he, subject, wrote, verb, he wrote them, a long letter. Okay, he wrote them, a long letter. Again, we have a long letter as a direct object because it's just what. And then we say, he wrote for whom a long letter. So we have here an indirect object, right? He wrote a long letter for whom, right? So indirect object, we are going to ask for whom. For whom? In this case, it is for them. For them. We have an answer for them. Number 8, the man gave her an advice. The man is a subject, right? Gave, verb in past tense. Then we have her and we have an advice. We have two objects here. Now look again. Straight, well, this is not a secret or a secret for someone, but I can tell you that straight after the verb gave or give, we have indirect object, the recipient of the direct object. Okay, so an advice is your direct object, and gave an advice for whom? For her. This is indirect object. So with the object to which we can put a preposition and a question is your indirect object. So gave an advice for whom? For her. For her. The man gave an advice for her. So we can put a preposition, and this is your indirect object. And the man gave what? He gave an advice. So he gave what? Yes. man gave what? Gave an advice. This is direct object. Direct object. Again, number 9, the man bought a bracelet for his wife. Well, this one will make your life easier because it has preposition. These are two objects, bracelet and wife. But for will make life easier because we know that this is indirect object. The man bought a bracelet for his wife. The man bought a bracelet. A bracelet what? He bought what? A bracelet. Direct object. A bracelet is a direct object. For his wife. For whom? Indirect object. Okay. It's indirect object. For whom? For his wife. Again, here the mother is a subject, cooked is a verb, cooked what? Dinner, so dinner, you already know that this is direct object. And for whom is indirect, for her children, it's indirect object. When you can put a preposition, or if the object comes after preposition, you know that normally it is indirect object that receives the direct object. So children here, they receive the dinner. Okay, so they receive the direct object. All right, so if we just put it here that indirect object receives direct. So the children receive the dinner. So it works like this. All right, guys. Hope this helps and makes some sense to you to become better in English grammar. The next topic will be on transitive and intransitive verbs. So thanks for watching me. Bye-bye.